Superman Legacy is going to keep you hooked with the number of superhero characters it includes. Some people might say it's not the right move, but I think James Gunn is totally right to bring in other heroes for the film. Set to release on July 11, 2025, the film will skip the usual origin story and focus on Clark's journey of balancing his human roots from Smallville and his Kryptonian heritage. It's a fresh take that doesn't start all the way from the beginning. The movie got even more exciting when David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan were cast as Superman and Lois. Talk about perfect choices. But the cast just keeps growing. Nathan Fillion, a regular collaborator of Gunn, is now on board as Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns, and we're also expecting some members of the Authority to make an appearance. There are even more heroes lined up to show up in Superman Legacy: Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, and more. While it might seem like Gunn is juggling a lot with this big supporting cast, it could actually be the perfect move for the story, and might end up shining an even bigger spotlight on Superman than we expect. Now don't get me wrong, I get why some fans are worried about too many heroes. One of the biggest issues with the previous DC universe was how quickly it rushed to introduce everyone. Superman got his own movie, but then in the next one, he was already fighting Batman and introducing Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. If Gunn is bringing in other superheroes in the very first DCU movie, we could end up with a BVS situation earlier than the Snyderverse did. Those concerns are definitely valid. Overcrowded casts are a common issue in superhero movies. Batman and Robin, Iron Man 2, X-Men: The Last Stand, The Dark Knight Rises, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 all struggled with too many villains. If the cast of Superman Legacy gets too big, it might hurt the focus on Clark and Lois's relationship, which needs to be front and center. The DCU should take its time building each hero properly. Marvel Studios spent years introducing Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, the Hulk, and Hawkeye before bringing them together in the Avengers. The main goal of Superman Legacy should be to help us connect with this new version of Kal-El, not introduce the entire superhero lineup all at once. But it seems like Gunn has a good reason for bringing in so many other superheroes, and it could serve the story in a meaningful way. James Gunn wants Superman Legacy to explore Superman's double life. By including other superheroes, he can highlight the contrast between Clark Kent's everyday life and Superman's heroic side. Characters like Lois, Jimmy Olsen, and Perry White will help focus on Clark's personal life, while Green Lantern and the Authority will represent his superhero identity. The issue with overstuffed comic book movie casts usually arises when characters are added just to set them up for future stories. If the other heroes in Superman Legacy play a significant role in the story, then the movie will stay focused and won't feel overcrowded. Superman Legacy has the chance to do something Marvel has largely avoided: exploring the concept of secret identities. While Marvel's heroes like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers revealed their identities early on, the DCU can set itself apart by diving deeper into this aspect of superhero life. Superman, with his dual identity as Clark Kent and Superman, has always been defined by this struggle. Marvel's heroes, after Tony Stark's big reveal in Iron Man, mostly moved away from hiding their true selves. The DCU can stand out by focusing on how superheroes manage their secret lives, something that Marvel's universe hasn't fully explored. I think secret identities are a huge part of what makes DC's top heroes so interesting. Clark keeps being Superman's secret to protect the people he loves from his enemies, while Bruce hides his Batman identity so criminals in Gotham stay terrified of the Bat instead of realizing there's just a rich guy behind the mask. Starting the new DC universe by focusing on the secret identity angle is a smart way to kick things off. And the problem of too many villains won't be an issue if there's an even bigger conflict at play. No matter who Superman faces in his mission to save the world, the biggest struggle will likely come from within. Clark Kent has always struggled to balance his human side with his Kryptonian roots, and that's still true in James Gunn's DCU. And let me tell you, James Gunn is the perfect director to tackle this, given his experience with the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, where he explored Peter Quill's struggle with his alter ego, Star-Lord. While Star-Lord doesn't have superpowers like Superman, the theme of balancing two identities is still relevant, and Gunn will bring that dynamic into play in his Superman film. There have been 6 solo Superman movies, starting with Richard Donner's 1978 film starring Christopher Reeve as the iconic hero. Reeve played Superman 4 times, with his final appearance in 1987's Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. Donner's first film focused on Superman's origin, showing Kal-El's early days on Krypton and his childhood in Smallville, Kansas. The movie explored the internal struggle Clark faced as he tried to hide his powers while growing up in a small town, and later as he juggled his romance with Lois Lane while keeping his superhero identity a secret. These themes of personal conflict were highlighted during his battles with Lex Luthor. Superman 2 goes deeper into Clark Kent's struggle with his secret identity, especially as Lois begins to suspect he's Superman. In the sequel, Clark eventually reveals his alter ego to Lois, which causes more personal conflict as the story unfolds. However, the following 2 sequels shift the focus away from Superman's internal struggles and instead center on the villains he must defeat, putting less emphasis on his personal dilemmas. There was a big break before the next Superman movie, with Brandon Routh stepping into the role in Superman Returns in 2006. The film acts like a sequel to the first 2 Superman movies, ignoring the events of the last 2. In this version, Superman has been gone for 5 years, and the main conflict comes from how everyone has moved on without him. Lois Lane, the love of his life, is now engaged and has a young son, which Superman has a hard time accepting. Christopher Nolan got involved in the next Superman reboot, Man of Steel, producing it and giving the superhero a similar treatment to what he did with Batman in Batman Begins. James Gunn's track record suggests he might be able to strike a balance between action and comedy. His previous works, like The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, were able to blend humor and action successfully without feeling overly campy. So, if Krypto does make an appearance, Gunn will manage to keep the tone right, avoiding the pitfalls that plagued some earlier DC films. Well, that's it. Please share your views and opinions in the comments section with us. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.